Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, and today we are talking about the French national team. The World Cup is coming. It's happening soon. Yesterday, Didier Deschamps, the coach of the French national team, announced his squad for the World Cup in the US, Canada, and Mexico. A list of 26 players with a few surprises, with a lot of PSG players, and with an offensive armada that has a lot of other teams very worried. So let's go through the list. We can talk about the surprises and the players missing, and let's talk about I'll give you my opinion on this squad and what we can expect from the French national team. So in terms of list, relatively straightforward format. 26 player, like I said, 3 goalkeeper, 9 defenders, 5 midfielders, 9 attackers. A lot of names that everyone would know. Obviously, Mbappe is there, Dembele is there, Warren Zaïre-Emery is there, William Saliba is there, Maxence Lacroix is there. So yeah, like a good list, I think. Let me just fix that. Thank you. A good list, a pretty like Didier Deschamps is not one for surprises, honestly. There's always a couple of question marks when we get to the time of the list. There's always, obviously, a couple of players who end up just outside of the 26 and just miss the boat on account of only having a limit on the number of players. And so, yeah, I think in terms of structure of the list overall, before we get into each position, not surprised by it. I think, like, I'm a bit surprised by the number of midfielders. And I think, having only 5 midfielders, obviously, like typically this French team plays a 4-2-3-1, but having only 5 doesn't give that many options in the grand scheme of things. And we know that, in 2018, we won the World Cup by having Matuidi, a defensive midfielder, play a sort of hybrid left wing kind of position. So having that sort of impact and balance in midfield, I think that might be one of the points where it's missing a little bit. And then nine attackers. We know some of them can double up as midfielders. We know like Magnus Akliouche can come down. We know Desiree Doué can come down. We know Ryan Cherky can come down. So they are not all like pure number nines or by any means. But still, like I think the balance there, personally, I find it a little bit like too skewed towards defenders and attackers. But there's also a question in terms of the talent pool that's available. In terms of position by position, goalkeepers, our first goalkeeper, Mike Maignan, no surprise there, great one and no doubt about him. Brice Samba will be substitute, and then for the third goalkeeper, sadly, Lucas Chevalier of PSG excluded from the list in favor of Robin Risser, who's the goalkeeper of Lens, who had an amazing season, just won the title of goalkeeper of Ligue 1 for the season. He's also a young one, he's I think 2021, so he can get some experience, see what happens in those competitions. It is what it is. A bit disappointing for Chevalier, who's having a nightmare of a season, but I think like from a sporting perspective, it's actually really hard to argue against because Chevalier had such an horrible season. It definitely wouldn't feel right to have him like be part of the squad. Obviously, like the third goalkeeper is mostly there for morale and for just like tagging along. He's not really expected to play much of a role. So it is what it is. Bit disappointing for him, and confirmation of a goalkeeper and a player who's really like his trajectory is falling off the rails, and something is gonna have to happen this summer to put him back on track. In terms of defenders, so we've got Lucas Digne, Malo Gusto, Lucas Hernandez, Theo Hernandez, the brothers, Ibrahima Konate, Joe Conde, Maxence Lacroix, William Saliba, Dayot Upamecano. And so we have a starting defense of Theo Hernandez on the left, Saliba Upamecano in the middle, and Koundé on the right. I think for me, like I like the inclusion of Maxence Lacroix, who's doing really well in Crystal Palace, who's a great player, and I think like one that we don't talk about nearly often enough, and I think he's really a talented player that's really worth keeping an eye on. Lucas Hernandez of PSG is making the cut. I think more for him being able to play into positions than really what he brings on the pitch. So Luis Enrique loves the player, loves his attitude, so he's definitely got something. Lucas Digne on the list, I'm not a huge fan. I think he's a good player, but he's not really top level in my mind. And if we already have two left back in Theo Hernandez and Lucas Hernandez, I kind of question what he's coming to do on this list. And then I think like moving into midfield because like the next point tags, we've got five midfielders: N'Golo Kante. Uh, Impossible to get rid of on the pitch and off the pitch, like literally, like so happy to see him there. Manu Kone of Roma, Adrien Rabiot, Aurélien Tchouameni, and Warren Zaïre-Emery. And I think that's my question there, is that I'm so happy that Warren is part of the list. It's honestly so well deserved. He's had a tremendous season, but honestly, I don't know. Like I wonder if he shouldn't be the right back of the French team, because Jules Koundé, I'm not a fan of him in general, and even more when it comes to him being on the right side of defense. I think he's extremely defensive, but also like not completely impervious. And so he just like I think we can do better than that. Malo Gusto I actually like, and he's had like some really good appearances with the French national team. But you know, if I have to compare with what Warren Zaïre-Emery produced in this position this year, I think the best right back in the French national team right now is Warren Zaïre-Emery. And if that's the case, it means we've got 10 defenders for 4 positions, and we only have 4 midfielders for 2. So that little bit of imbalance that I was talking about earlier, I think it's becoming even more prominent. So let me know what you think, but yeah, it's making me a little bit worried. And I think in midfield, ultimately, quality players. No doubt about that. Tchouameni is a machine this season, and I'm looking forward to the game against Uruguay to see him morph into the table that Valverde bumps into. But yeah, apart from this, he's gonna be the pillar. Manu Kone has had some really good game with the French national team, especially his first few games. The more recent ones haven't been nearly as good. Adrien Rabiot, I hate to say he's a decent player, but I think like yes, a little bit similar to Lucas Digne. I question where he's really at the level to be a starter for the French national team. I don't think he should be. And N'Golo Kante, I think the question will be around his level of physical fitness, and whether you know his marathonian style of play can sustain that through the whole tournament. And honestly, I said Warren is the best right back in this list. I think Warren could be a starter in midfield as well. Maybe that's just because I love the player so much, but yeah, I do the head-to-head. Warren right now versus Rabiot, Warren versus N'Golo Kante, Warren versus Manu Kone, in a midfield where we have only 2 players to really balance out the squad and kind of link between midfield and attack. I honestly, that's the one I would go to. Let me know in the comment what you think of this, but yeah. And then we get on to the offensive armada, and that's where like things will get really impressive. Obviously, Mbappe, Dembele is there, Olise is there, Ryan Cherki is there, Désiré Doué is there, Bradley Barcola, Marcus Thuram, Magnus Akliouche, and Jean-Philippe Mateta. So 9 names. Honestly, enough to make 2 World Cup winning offensive lines, if I'm honest. I think a starting line of Mbappe in the number 9 position, Olise on the right, Dembele as a sort of false 9, number 10, and potentially Désiré Doué or Barcola on the left. That's a strong proposition. And then at the 60th minute, 70th minute, you put in Ryan Cherki. You put in Marcus Thuram on a tired defense. You put in Barcola or Doué. It's really like we have like such a depth of pool of talent here. It's very enjoyable to see. I think the question will be the overall balance of the team, and especially the perennial question around Mbappe defending and actually like pulling his weight when we're not in possession of the ball. But in general, strong line of attack. I question whether we needed that 9th offensive, and in this context, like Jean-Philippe Mateta, I'm not entirely sure I see a need for Mateta when you already have Marcus Thuram, because I think Marcus Thuram is essentially a superior version of what Mateta brings, and I think if you do absolutely want to have this 9th attacker, Yeah, I think there's other names that might have been more appropriate, but more than anything, I think that's one spot that would have gone to midfield. So it is what it is. In the end, there's a few players that are missing, a few big names that don't make the cut. The number one on that list of players who don't make the cut is Camavinga of Real Madrid. Sorry, I was thinking of Real Madrid, so that's why the name comes up. Camavinga doesn't make the cut. It's rough, but at the same time, given the season that he's had in the French national team, he hasn't really been able to solidify his spot. His performances have been so and so. So ultimately, like, yeah, like it's kind of hard for him, but at the same time, like, it's hard to argue with, given the season. So it is what it is. Corentin Tolisso, also of Lyon, would have been a very strong contender in midfield. But I think, and a lot of people in France are actually saying that, because he had a really great season with Lyon. At the same time, right now, he's playing as more of a number 10 position in Lyon, even if he's got a more defensive profile. So I think in terms of profile versus position played, it doesn't stick as well as. And he's been like, for as long as he's played, he's kind of always been like the number 27, 28 on the list, so the guy who just misses the cut. So that's still the case here. And yeah, bit of a shame for him, but um, I'm honestly not sure who I would take out of this list to make way for Tolisso, if I'm honest. So that's my personal opinion. And then I think, going back to my point about attackers, I think if you want a ninth attacker on the list, I think it could have been interesting to bring in Eli Junior Kroupi, who's having a fantastic season with Bournemouth, who's obviously being talked about for PSG or for other big clubs. I think he's a 21-year-old, 21-year-old, so he's still very young, with a lot of potential. And so it could be helpful for him to start getting exposure and getting access to this French national team. It's all about like bringing up the next generation, and I think, candidly, Eli Junior Kroupi could very well be part of that next French generation in attack. So I don't think it's too early for him, and I think in the long run, I think anyone would have a hard time arguing that Mateta has more potential than Eli Junior Kroupi. And so I think right now Mateta doesn't get playing time ahead of Marcus Thuram, and I think in the future I don't think he gets playing time ahead of Eli Junior Kroupi. So then I kind of question his role and his position on this list. Ekitike is injured, obviously, so that's a sad one. We talked about Chevalier as well, who misses the cut at the last minute. Tough one, but it is what it is. And yeah, I think overall, like, that's where we stand with this list. Strong squad, obviously, very strong squad. I think a lot of people have France as a favorite for the World Cup, which I can definitely understand. Personally, I'll be honest, I worry a little bit about the little things. I worry about our midfield not being nearly strong enough versus like when you get versus Portugal or Spain, for example. I worry about our fullbacks not being strong enough versus like the top ones in the game. I worry about Mike Maignan sometimes being a little bit inconsistent and sometimes like not being completely focused during his games. I worry. I hate to say, because I'm not gonna feed into the drama, but I worry about like the Mbappe influence of it all, and whether it creates drama behind closed doors. And I think, in this line of attack, yeah, like I think like there's like supposedly there's four positions. The reality is that when you play with four attackers in such a tournament, the attackers need to really like do some work. On and off the ball, defensively, being that first line of pressing, you cannot just rely on two midfielders to cover your defense. And I think, having Mbappe there, obviously, it always calls into question the notion of who actually works for him. Um, so that's a tactical question that Deschamps will have to answer. And yeah, we've got like not such an easy group phase as well. With Norway, with Senegal, it's like it's not the easiest team to play in the first round of a World Cup. Obviously, we're expecting the French national team to be one step above, but I'm not taking anything for granted. I think this team, they have the potential. No doubt about it. They've got the potential to be there all the way to the final and potentially win it. I think there's other teams that I put level with them or just a little bit above. But I think overall, yeah, France will definitely be part of the list of the favorites and the teams to watch during this competition. But the players, the staff, the fans should absolutely not take anything for granted. And honestly, right now in France, surveys recently, 40% of people think the French national team is going to win the World Cup, which is a huge amount of people. And honestly, like French national team, I'll be honest, in my experience, we are never as bad as when we think we're favorites, and we're never as good as when we think we're underdogs. We need to come from nowhere a little bit. We need to have this unexpected rise to glory, bringing everyone together, and like the energy and so on comes together to really be successful. I think us winning it from a position of being a self-titled favorite, it makes me a little bit nervous. We'll see. Maybe it's just me. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, what you make of this list anyway. Obviously, we'll have a lot to talk about, like coming into this World Cup. But yeah, let me know what you think. As always, please drop a like on the video if you made it this far. Subscribe to the channel for all the French national team and PSG content on YouTube in English. We'll be following obviously the Champions League first, but then switching into World Cup mode very quickly. So definitely worth a subscribe. And don't forget, even with Didier Deschamps and the French national team, ici c'est Paris!